Bly House, grand. Majestic in its architecture, it stood as a testament to a bygone era of opulence and grandeur. Its walls, steeped in history, whispered tales of old, of laughter and sorrow, of life and death, isolated, the perfect image of idyllic English countryside. Nestled amidst rolling hills and ancient trees, it seemed a sanctuary from the chaos of the world. Yet its isolation was not just physical, but also emotional, a place cut off from the warmth of human connection. But beauty can be deceiving. Scratch the surface and darkness bleeds through. The fog that enveloped the mansion was not just a natural phenomenon, but a metaphor for the secrets it held. Secrets that were as thick and impenetrable as the mist itself. Bly held secrets, dark and terrible secrets. Its hallways, once filled with the sounds of life, now echoed with the whispers of the past. Each room, each corner, seemed to hold a story, a fragment of a dark history that was best left forgotten, best left undisturbed. The house stood at the end of a long drive, a path lined with ancient trees that seemed to guard the secrets of the mansion. The drive, shrouded in mist, was a journey into the unknown, a passage from the world of the living to the realm of the forgotten. A grand old place, neglected, windows like vacant eyes. The once vibrant mansion now stood in a state of decay, its grandeur faded, its beauty marred by neglect. The windows, once filled with light and life, now stared blankly, like the eyes of a ghost, empty and soulless. The governess arrived, young and naive. She saw only beauty, not the danger that lurked beneath. To her, Bly was a dream come true, a place of opportunity and promise. Little did she know she was stepping into a shadowed paradise, where the line between reality and nightmare was blurred, and where the past was never truly dead. The new governess, young, eager. She had left behind the bustling city, seeking solace and purpose in the serene countryside. The grand mansion of Bly stood as a beacon of hope and new beginnings. Drawn to the beauty of Bly and the innocence of the children, she felt an immediate connection. The sprawling gardens, the majestic architecture, and the laughter of children filled her heart with joy. She saw no evil, not at first, but evil casts a long shadow. As days turned into weeks, subtle changes began to surface. The once vibrant atmosphere of Bly started to feel heavy, as if an unseen presence lurked in the shadows. It didn't take long for the cracks to appear. The grand facade of the mansion began to show signs of decay, mirroring the growing unease in her heart. Whispers in the corridors, fleeting shadows, and the chilling sensation of being watched became her new reality.
The children, Miles and Flora, were enchanting. Their laughter was infectious, and their innocence seemed genuine. They played games, sang songs, and brought life to the old mansion. Beautiful and charming. But something was amiss. Their eyes, once filled with joy, now held a distant, almost haunted look. It was as if they were hiding secrets too dark for their young souls. A strangeness in their eyes, a coldness that sent shivers down my spine. The governess couldn't shake the feeling that the children were not entirely themselves, that something or someone was influencing them. The line between innocence and dread blurred, leaving her questioning the very essence of Bly and its inhabitants.
The whispers started subtly, a chill in the air. It was as if the very walls of the mansion were trying to communicate, to warn. The governess, new to the estate, felt an unease she couldn't quite place. The air seemed to thicken with each passing day, the shadows growing longer, darker, a feeling of being watched. The governess dismissed it, just her imagination, or was it? Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the leaves outside seemed to whisper secrets she wasn't privy to. She tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the newness of her surroundings, but the sensation persisted, gnawing at her.
One day I saw him, a man standing on the tower, watching. His presence was undeniable, a stark contrast against the dimming sky. He stood there, unmoving, as if he were a part of the very structure. I blinked, hoping he would disappear, but he remained, a silent sentinel.
His eyes were cold, his gaze intense. They seemed to pierce through the distance, locking onto her with an unsettling precision. It was as if he could see into her very soul, reading her fears, her doubts. The governess felt a shiver run down her spine, a primal fear taking hold. He vanished as quickly as he had appeared. But she knew. She had seen him. The image of his piercing eyes and cold demeanor was etched into her memory. She couldn't shake the feeling that he was still there, lurking in the shadows, watching her every move. The mansion, once a place of refuge, now felt like a prison.
Peter Quint, dead, but not gone. His presence lingered, a ghostly echo of the past. The governess knew she wasn't alone in the mansion. The spectre of Peter Quint was always there, a silent observer, a reminder of the darkness that lay just beneath the surface. She had to find a way to confront him, to understand why he haunted the halls of the mansion. Miles and Flora, angels or devils?
Their beauty was undeniable, but their behavior grew stranger. They spoke of things they couldn't possibly know. They played games that chilled the blood.
They seemed to be hiding something, a secret.
The governess was determined to uncover the truth. But the truth was more terrifying than she could have imagined. The atmosphere at Bly grew heavy, oppressive. Each day brought new horrors. Footsteps in the night, voices whispering her name, and always the feeling of being watched.
Was she going mad? Or were the ghosts of Bly House real? She had to protect the children, but from what? Miles, the boy she had sworn to protect. He was changing, growing distant. His eyes held a darkness that mirrored the evil lurking within Bly.
The governess was desperate. She had to save him. But from what? And who could she trust? The line between reality and nightmare blurred. Was she the protector or the possessed? The truth remained elusive. Were the ghosts real or figments of a troubled mind? Henry James leaves us with questions, unanswered, unsettling.
The Turn of the Screw, a chilling tale of isolation, madness, and the unseen horrors that haunt us all.
We are left to wonder what is real and what lurks in the shadows of our own minds.
The air at Bly House was thick with secrets, a palpable tension that seemed to seep from the very walls. Each day, the governess felt her grip on reality loosening, as if the house itself was conspiring against her sanity. She saw fleeting shadows, heard whispers on the wind, voices that seemed to call her name from the darkness. Her dreams were plagued by unsettling visions, twisted images that left her waking in terror. Fear, a constant companion, gnawed at her sanity, making her question every creak and groan of the old house. The line between the real and the imagined blurred, leaving her in a perpetual state of confusion. Was she losing her mind, or was something truly evil lurking within the walls of Bly House? Sleep offered no escape, only more questions. The governess would wake in a cold sweat, heart pounding, the echoes of her nightmares still ringing in her ears. Faces, contorted in silent screams, haunted her every waking moment, their eyes pleading for release. The boundaries between her dreams and waking hours dissolved, merging into a single unending nightmare. Her fear, once a flickering candle, now roared like a bonfire, consuming her from the inside out, leaving her a shell of her former self. Bly House was a labyrinth, and she was lost within its depths, wandering aimlessly through its shadowy corridors, searching for a way out that might never come. The spirits grew bolder, their presence undeniable. Their appearances were no longer fleeting glimpses. They lingered, their forms solidifying, their eyes burning into her soul. The governess felt hunted, prey in a game she didn't understand. The house itself seemed to conspire against her, every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind, a whispered threat. The children too became more distant, their behavior increasingly unsettling. They seemed to exist on the periphery of her awareness, their eyes holding a wisdom beyond their years. Their laughter, once innocent and pure, now sent chills down her spine. A growing sense of dread settled over her. Something was terribly wrong, a darkness she couldn't fathom. One moonless night, the governess confronted her greatest fear. Standing on the old gravel path, she saw him, Peter Quint, the former valet, his face locked in a grotesque mockery of life. His eyes, cold and empty, stared through her. Terror choked her, stealing her breath. The house felt as if it were closing in, suffocating her. The governess found herself trapped in a nightmare. Every room held the potential for terror, every shadow concealing an unspeakable horror. Sleep offered no respite, it only drew her deeper into the clutches of fear. She was a prisoner in Bly House, her sanity the price of her captivity. Section 4. The Children's Gaze. Too knowing, too cold. The children's behavior became increasingly disconcerting. Their actions, once innocent and playful, now carried an unsettling undertone that was impossible to ignore. Their innocent facades cracked, revealing a chilling awareness that seemed far beyond their years. It was as if they had seen and experienced things that no child should ever have to. They spoke of seeing things, hearing whispers in the dark corners of the room. Their conversations were filled with eerie details that sent shivers down the spine. Their words, seemingly nonsensical at first, hinted at a dark truth that lay just beneath the surface. It was as if they were privy to secrets that no one else could understand. The governess, desperate for answers, clung to their every utterance, searching for meaning in their cryptic pronouncements. She hoped to find some clue, some explanation for the strange occurrences. Their gazes, once filled with childish wonder, now held a coldness that chilled her to the bone. It was as if they were looking right through her, seeing things she couldn't. They seemed to know, to understand things they shouldn't. Their expressions were too knowing, too wise for their tender ages. Their games took on a disturbing quality, their words laced with double meanings. What once were innocent pastimes now seemed like rehearsals for something far more sinister. The governess felt a growing sense of unease, as if she were a pawn in a game orchestrated by unseen hands. The atmosphere grew heavier with each passing day, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. Section 5. A Demand for Truth. The governess confronts the children. Driven to the brink by the mounting tension and eerie occurrences, the governess finally confronted the children. She could no longer bear the weight of the secrets that seemed to hang in the air like a thick fog. She demanded the truth, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and desperation. Her eyes darted between the two children, searching for any sign of honesty, any crack in their facade. Their silence, their unwavering gazes, spoke volumes. It was as if they were communicating in a language only they understood, a silent pact that excluded her. They knew, she realized, they knew everything. Every secret, every hidden truth, lay within their grasp. The realization hit her like a cold wave, chilling her to the bone. The truth, she sensed, lay buried beneath layers of innocence and deceit. It was a tangled web that she was determined to unravel, no matter the cost. The confrontation reached a fever pitch. Voices were raised, emotions ran high, and the room seemed to vibrate with the intensity of the moment. The governess, her voice raw with emotion, pleaded with the children to break their silence. She begged them to share what they knew, to lift the veil of mystery that shrouded their lives. Their eyes, wide and unblinking, seemed to mock her. It was as if they were daring her to uncover the truth, challenging her resolve. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of silence, Flora spoke. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it carried the weight of 1,000 secrets. Her words, soft and measured, sent a chill down the governess's spine. Each syllable seemed to echo in the room, amplifying the sense of dread that had settled over them. "They're here," she whispered, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and resignation. "They're always here." The governess felt a shiver run down her spine, realizing that the nightmare was far from over. Section 6. Possession. The ghastly revelation at Bly House. The truth, when it came, was more horrifying than she could have imagined. The spirits weren't merely haunting Bly House, they were possessing the children. Flora and Miles were trapped, their innocent souls imprisoned within their own bodies. The governess felt a surge of protectiveness, a fierce determination to save them from this unspeakable evil. But how could she fight an enemy that could hide within the very being she swore to protect? The revelation sent a shiver down her spine. The children, her charges, were no longer themselves. They were vessels, puppets controlled by the malevolent spirits that roamed the halls of Bly House. Section 7. Bly's enduring shadow, a warning unheeded. The governess's fight to save the children ended in tragedy. The spirits, their grip on the children absolute, proved too powerful. Bly House remained, a silent sentinel, its dark secrets buried deep within its walls. The governess left, forever marked by the horrors she had witnessed. But the evil, she knew, lingered. Bly House stood as a warning, a testament to the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic settings. The spirits remained, their power unbroken, and the cycle of possession, of innocence corrupted, would continue, a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed.